again, and I've been talking to you about things and pointing out the importance of law. And the reason why I point out the importance of law is because when people rule over you and they don't have law, they get you in a lot of trouble. Like, I know not everybody is religious, not everybody understands religious teaching, but I tell you there's value to these teachings no matter what your faith is or where you come from. Because a long time ago there was this King Ahab and his wife Jezebel, and they did great and horrible things, right? They they especially attacked the Jewish people, and they worshipped false gods, right? Um, Now the thing that you need to know about these two, at their end, Elijah, he came to them and said that he's going to bring disaster on them. He's going to, well, God, he was speaking for God. He said, I'm going to bring disaster on you. I'll wipe out your descendants and cut off from Ahab every last male in Israel, slave or free. I will make your house like that of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, and that of Baasha, son of Ahijah, because you have aroused my anger and have caused Israel to sin. So we have people who are not by the law telling people to do things not of the law, but using their position and power to drive people, and if you don't if you don't understand how dangerous this is, right? They put together these armies to attack anybody who doesn't submit to them, right? And I know because I had an army against me, right? And they keep trying to make cases to prove that they're right, and they try to get me in on their cases, but I've come to understand that they don't care which way the case goes so long as they retain their power. And so I've told them that I want them nothing to do with their cases, right? There's no justice with these kind of people, right? But still, they get the people around them. They get people around them, and they care nothing for them, but they offer people positions in their pyramid scheme, I'd say, in their system of society, like they maybe make you a nurse. You maybe was nobody before, but when they pick you up out of the gutter to use you, then maybe you were a maid, or maybe you were a lunch lady, or whatever you were. They're gonna put you into a more prestigious position of power. Why? Because they know that they can trust you once you serve them blindly. Once you prove that you'll do anything you say, they'll give you a position where you then get a paycheck. And nurses are well paid, so they just love to make people nurses, But this is the way they build their armies, They pick people up out of the gutter and they say, do what we say to oppress the people who aren't yet in the gutter, and give them your position in the gutter, and we'll give you a position of high standing, It's crazy the way they take from one to give to another without merit, without any kind of justification, just because it's something that they want to happen, because maybe that person doesn't bow to their plots and schemes and their positions of power, They attack somebody just because they can't control them, because they can't dominate them. And it's not to say that this person is doing anything. Maybe this person lives in peace in their home. Maybe they don't get involved in nonsense. Maybe they honor God. Maybe they live a just life. Maybe they have standards and morals, and they don't do things. And these kind of leaders, that they can't have this, and so they attack here. And nobody knows they're attacking here, because while they're attacking, they're not attacking to kill. They're attacking to ruin the reputation. And so they're putting you in boxes that say you're a drunk, you're a drug addict, you're whatever undesirable thing in the nation might be, you've had an abortion, you're a lesbian. They pit people against each other with this narrative. And they get people in their army to substantiate this narrative, though it has no merit, though it's completely lacking in merit. And the people that they use, if they're not already up here as doctors and lawyers and teachers and, social service workers, they get people outside of their circle and elevate them up into their circle. Like, we picked this one lady up. We made her a lunch lady first, and she did what we wanted her to do. So we sent her back to school and made her a nurse. This other one was a maid, and she did what we wanted her to do. So we sent her back to school and made her a nurse. And while these people didn't have the intellect to make it through school, they were maybe passed through, and they're maybe in like the most prestigious institutions that you could find now. It's ridiculous the way they plot and scheme to give people merit that didn't have it before, and they've taken it away from this righteous person, the person that they're attacking, the reason why they're giving these people merit. You don't understand how they do what they do, but like we come back here with Ahab and Jezebel, that they did evil things. They plotted, they schemed, and anybody who wouldn't work with them, like this man who had a vineyard in 1 Kings 21, this man who had a vineyard, and they killed him, and then they were like, go and take his property now. He wouldn't work with you before, go take it now. Because they don't run by laws, they run by doing what they want to do. And if you don't do what they want to do, if you don't absolutely bend over and serve them, they kill you. They don't take your life, if they don't take your breath, they take your ability to function in society. So even though they're sitting up here, you have no place down here because of the way that they're running things, because you have something that they want, because you are something that they detest. They detest morality. They detest law. They detest righteousness. They show false righteousness, but they really just detest true righteousness. So they attack them. But you see, even when you have a king and a queen here, even when you have a king and a queen here, no one can fight against them. You see, God comes up and he says, I'm going to wipe you out. Not only that, I'm going to wipe out your whole house. I'm going to wipe out everyone who served you. It says, dogs will eat those belonging to Ahab who die in the city, and the birds will feed on those who die in the country, those who flee this inner circle, those who try to get away after their master falls, that they'll still die. And you don't understand this because you think this is the way the world works over here. You think if you kill someone, then you get elevated. And you make no thought of, does this person deserve to die, What is this person actually doing wrong, Who even is this person? I don't even know the people who spoke against me. Like, I know about them now because it's been 10 years and they keep trolling me with names and whatnot, I know about them because I see them in their nurses' uniforms when they bring their kids to the bus stop. I don't know them, I've never known them. I've never had a real conversation with any of them, outside of hi and how are you, We've never been friends. We've never done anything together. And yet they tell me that there's this case against me and these are the witnesses. And I'm like, I don't know the witnesses. I don't know what they'd say. I don't know how you want me to find them. I know the accusations coming against me is I'm a drug addict, But these things are not true, and I don't know your witnesses. How can I fight you? And it feels very discouraging. It feels like, I want to be like Elijah and go run off in a cave and just have nothing to do with anybody because everybody serves the master. Everybody serves Jezebel, Everybody runs on their plots and their schemes, believing that pleasing them is the path to riches, the path to happiness in life, the path to, I don't know, the path out of misery, but it's not. It's the path that leads to death, What's the Bible say? At the end of the days, there'll be those who call good evil and evil good. Well, I've seen that. I've seen that for myself, And it's like history repeats itself, because the way it was way back when is the way it is now, And to continue on in my line of thinking, in comparisons, I have seen these people, and they have attacked and attacked and attacked, and then they want to be on my side, and I say, no, go away, And I had this verse come to my mind from 2 Kings chapter 1, where Ahab's dying, or not Ahab, but how do you say it? Ahaziah, something. He's dying, he's injured himself, and he sends people to consult the fake prophets to see if he'll recover. And Elijah hears from God, and he shows up, and he tells them, why have you come back? And he tells them, go back to the king who sent you and tell him, this is what the Lord says. Is it because there is no God in Israel that you think sending messengers to consult Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore, I'm reading this in the wrong pitch and tone, right? He says, because you've done this, then you're going to die on your bed right where you are. So then the king, these messengers, they go back to the king and deliver this word from the true prophet. And the king sends men, armies. He sent to Elijah a captain with his company of 50 men. And the captain goes, man of God. The king says, come down. And Elijah goes, if I'm a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and burn you. Let it consume you and your 50 men. And then fire came down and it killed them all. And then he sent another one. And and again, Elijah goes, may fire come down and consume you. Right? So then he sends another one. And the guy falls on his face and he says, like, have mercy on me in my life. Where does it say it? I'm sorry, I'm kind of blind. It's hard for me to focus on a full page. I gotta find it. If I'm a man of God, may fire come down and consume you and your 50 men again. So the king sent a third captain and his 50 men. This third captain went up and fell on his knees before Elijah, man of God. He begged, please have respect for my life and the lives of these 50 men, your servants. The third man was smart, and he said, we are crowning you. We're crowning you. We're here on the king's behalf, but we serve you. Don't kill us. And he said, see, fire has fallen from heaven and consumed the first 2 captains and all their men, but now have respect for my life. The angel of the Lord appeared and said to Elijah, go down with him and don't be afraid of him. So Elijah got up and went down with him to the king. You see, we get in these little cycles where we're so used to these armies coming against us that we're just like, die. I don't even know you. Just go over there and die. It's like, you have no portion. You have no portion with me. I have nothing to do with you. Don't even talk to me. That's the way I feel about the people around me, honestly. That's the way I feel about the people who came against me. And, Elijah here, there's nothing done that hasn't been done before. He feels the same way, so. But they got their posture right. You see, and they came and they bowed before him. They crowned him. They tried to crown me too, but I was like, I don't want your crown. You can keep your crown. That's crown of thorns, by the way. It doesn't really give me power. It gives me the appearance of power, and I imagine they'd use me in some scheme to make other people bow. Blah, nasty. Don't give me your crown. I don't want to be that person. I don't serve your purpose. I don't serve your order. I understand your order. If you want to be restored, I lift up the law. I crown God, It's like, no, 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 no. I can't help you unless you help yourself. You have to turn away from this, You have to stop doing this nonsense. This nonsense over here, it looks like the path of life to you, but really it's your death, because God will kill you and everyone that follows you, and those who flee, he'll get them too, It's like, why do you do this nonsense? Why do you do this nonsense? And it's nothing that hasn't been done before. And if you read your Bible, you'd understand these things, and you'd understand that evil survives by using someone else's hands, and maybe you wouldn't be so apt to serve them, and you'd recognize that evil nations go broke. You'd recognize that there is no money to give the people opportunity. That's why they pay them diddly squat. There is no money to give the people welfare. That's why they attack anyone who asks for it, When you realize that you live within an evil nation, a nation that does great evil, you understand that you're suffering because of the nation that you live in, Because when you have righteous leaders, when you have good leaders, your nation prospers. There's enough to go around for everybody. People aren't hoarding things, believing that one day they may need, 5,000 pounds of corn, as if they could consume it before it expired, People don't live like that. But when you have an evil nation, they get this mentality going, and you can't fix it. And you realize you can't fix it. I can't lead these people because they're not like me. And Elijah realized this too. That's why he told them, dogs are going to eat you, and everyone that follows you, and those that flee, the birds will get, And so I don't know, I guess I'm sitting here saying that the path back to right involves getting right with the law and getting right with God, recognizing that you can't just do what you want to do. You're not a God. Don't put yourself in that position, because as soon as you put yourself in that position, you are setting yourself up for your own demise, We can't live this way. And I know the witnesses against me have been built up into positions of privilege and power and trust and authority. I'm well aware of that, but I'm also well aware of how they got there and where they came from and what they did to get there, I'm well aware that they have eaten me. I'm well aware that they have slandered my name, that they have talked bad about me, that they never knew me. They never knew my kids. They didn't care if I lived or died. They only saw this as a means for themselves to get ahead. I should not die so that someone else should get ahead. That is not lawful. That is not legal. That is not just. That is just plain ridiculous. And for you to then come back and keep trolling me with these people that you know very well for certain, they only said what they said because you gave them favor. Every last one of them. Look at Delilah. I'm bringing you to another book to show you that evil is always the same. Delilah didn't care anything for Samson. She didn't care anything for the authority who was requesting of her to go in and trick Samson into telling her the secret of his strength, so that they could kill him. Delilah only cared for what she could get out of it. And she didn't care what she had to say to get it. She didn't care what she had to do to get it. Because evil worlds breed conditions like this where people will do anything for money. And they don't care because they're hungry, they're broke, and they don't have an understanding that the problem is their leadership. The problem is their lawlessness. The problem is that they're looking for a Messiah, but no one can save them because they're busy ruining the Messiah's reputation. They're busy cutting down everybody. They don't even know who they're cutting down. And it's just ridiculous. I'm not saying I'm a Messiah, by the way. I don't want that title. You can keep your crown, I'm saying they don't care who they kill just so long as they get some extra coins. They don't care who they kill. And it's sad. That is not the path to life. That is the path to death. And we need to recognize it. And we need to challenge things. We need to say, we can't live like this. We cannot live like this. We need to build ourselves into the people that we want to be. Because when we build ourselves back into righteous people, we come under the law. We find just ways of going there. We do the footwork. We make the commitments. Things matter again. We don't think that life doesn't matter, that we can take a life because we need 30 silver coins, you know. We can take a life because they'll make me a nurse. We can't think like that. We have to think this way. Why? Because you think that this is the way, because they tell you the way, because they set up their little system. God will come and wipe you all out. You want the blessings of God? You come back under the law. You want the blessings of God? You learn to do good. You stop doing this nonsense. You stop killing people for bread. Stop it. It makes no sense. You're going to have to carry that burden for the rest of your life because you were hungry. You know? And instead of protesting the system that keeps you oppressed, you decide to eat your neighbor. That's not good. And I'm not condemning anyone. I'm saying look at this system and say we've had enough of it. Things have to change. We have to get back to right. It's been thousands of years of these fools doing the same nonsense over and over and over and over again to us. You know, Torah reveals it, but we don't study Torah. Why? Because we're not Jews. And I'm not saying you have to be Jews, you know. All the laws of Torah do not apply to you. However, the benefit of learning Torah is that you don't fall into these traps and you recognize what's leading you. And not because you're so clever and you can see through their disguise, but you understand that when a nation does evil, when a nation handles law in this respect where we cut down the righteous for 30 coins, 30 silver coins, you know, or we cut people down for bread, we have to recognize this is where God wipes us out. This is where other nations turn their backs on us. This is where the value of our dollar falls. This is where we have wars and rumors of wars, where we're pretending like we're the righteous ones, but the other ones are exposing us. And it doesn't matter how righteous we keep saying we are when everybody else sees through you and they're all turning their backs on you. You know, when you recognize these things, you understand that the path out of this isn't fighting and subduing and proving your cases. The way out of this is a return to law. The way out of this is a return to God. The way out of this is rest and repentance. Be quiet. Be sorry for what you're doing. Understand what you're doing is wrong. Change your way. Say, I'm not going to be like that. I used to be like that, but I ain't doing it no more. You know, I'm a changed man now. Now I can be proud of who I am for what I do and who I am. I've come a long way, you know. We don't have to live that way. That's what I'm saying. That's my message to you all. You want to make cases? You want me to get involved so you can be proven right? So you can be justified? So you can have a scapegoat? No, thank you. I give you a choice. Do you want to be right or do you want to do right? Because I really don't care how right you look. I don't see you as righteous. I will never see what you did as right. And I don't care your justification for it. You have no excuses with me. You know, you want to be right, you're going to lose. I don't want to hear your cases. I don't want to be involved in your cases. I don't care anymore. You know, you want to do right? Quit this nonsense. Maybe I'll talk to you. But I ain't talking to you if you don't turn away from that nonsense and do right. Because I don't want nothing to do with you. And that's just the way that I am. Because I've suffered enough. I've paid enough for your schemes. You know, it's enough. I want nothing to do with you anymore. You know? And that's just the way that it is. You know? Maybe it's self-preservation. Maybe it's where I find my salvation, you know? Pardon me. It's the way that it is. And we can't live like that anymore. All right. I don't know how to come down off my rebuke. I really don't. And I hate ending things abruptly. I don't know how to transition into something positive after I say all that. But I will say there is hope. There is hope as long as there's a light. And if there's a light, you can come to it, you know? All right. Y'all have a good day. God bless.